The friendship between people and animals is one as old as time. Some human-animal interactions were out of need for food or protection, but could they have evolved to something more? There are many unusual human-animal friendships that could include wild animals as well. The ties between humans and animals can sometimes be stronger than family, so let's explore together the world for the most heartwarming true stories about people and animals. And for some extra fun, find our mascot Ned hiding throughout the video. Friendly apex. Lions, sharks. What apex animal is known for being emotionless and cold killers? This one in particular seems to do it all for fun as well as for food. The animal kingdom rightfully fears it. Nothing stops them in their pursuit for the next attack. And sometimes they hang out with their pet crocodiles. We humans can be terrible creatures, and the fact that we have survived this long without a larger power or cosmic stick whacking rightful justice into us is astounding. However, we can be loved even by other cold, unfeeling apex creatures like Pocho the crocodile. Pocho loves Gilberto Chito Shedden, a local fisherman, because Pocho was once badly injured on a riverbank and Gilberto helped him to recover. Pocho became a lifelong friend with Gilberto, and the two have never left each other's side. The weirdest team you will ever hear of. Aggie and Mark. Imagine coming home and finding out that your garden disappeared overnight. It would be terrible. And if you were a polar bear, you'd probably try to find somewhere more solid to live, maybe even someone to move in with. Cut the bills in half, maybe. Aggie, a very smart polar bear, made friends with Mark Dumas, who not only loves bears, but also has his own pool. It seems like Aggie made the right call moving in. Living in their common home together, Aggie gets pretty much whatever she wants now, from wrestles to hugs to hours of swimming time. Despite the fact that Aggie could crush Mark's skull within her jaw quite easily, Mark seems to be very relaxed with Aggie and both enjoy each other's company. Large Lifeguard. Elephants are said to be very intelligent creatures, one of the smartest animals outside of dolphins and us humans. That being said, you would imagine that elephants have probably seen humans trying to swim at least once. It wouldn't be something that will cause an intense panic in an elephant. But for an elephant named Kamla, this is what she observed when she saw Derek Thompson, the person that helped rescue her, taking a dip in the lake waters nearby where she was standing. Kamla saw Derek drowning, and she reached out with her trunk to save him from his fate. Kamla's lifeguard duty was a really sweet and an incredible gesture from the grateful elephant to her rescuer human. Birds rule. Birds and people, depending on who you ask, can either be enjoyable little companions that are allowed to fly around the house, or they are winged pests that need to be eradicated. We are the former. We adore birds. From parrots to pigeons to buddies to eagles, birds rule. There are some birds that people may not believe make good companions. Ravens and crows are just some of those birds. An 8-year-old from Seattle, Washington, Gabby, one day decided to try and befriend a random crow she encountered outside her home. While most encounters with birds can either be frightening or just plain uneventful, Gabby's new winged friend started bringing Gabby gifts to cement their new partnership, from pieces of found metals to beads, bugs, and buttons. This crow really wanted to impress Gabby, and it worked from all accounts. Gabby has said that since the beginning, she has kept all of the gifts that her new winged friends have given her over the years. Kibi the gorilla. Gorillas, big, blunt creatures that earned the reputation as being intimidating kings of their tribes and their territories. Only absolute mad people will try and befriend one in the wild. Enter center stage, Damien Aspinall. Damien is the founder of the Spinal Foundation, named after him, of course, a foundation dedicated to the cause of breeding, raising, and then returning the apes that were raised into the wild. In the case of Kiwi, one of those bred and raised apes from the Spinal Foundation, Kiwi's relationship to Damien was one of eternal love and gratitude. Damien had released Kiwis 5 years prior to making his journey into the wild to release another ape. When Damien entered the area named Gabon, he did not think that Kiwi would recognize him. But he was wrong. Kiwi immediately remembered the man that raised him and ran to meet his man dad. It just shows you that acts of kindness aren't just monetary. They actually have lifelong ripples, often very positive ones. Lucky Ducky. The story I'm about to tell you sounds like the plot of a children's book or animated movie, but it is in fact a true story about the friendship between a 5-year-old and their ducky friend who believed the 5-year-old was his mother. The lucky duck mother is 5 years old, Kaylee Brown, and she was just minding her own business when she stumbled upon a baby duckling that, upon seeing Kaylee for the first time, made the assumption that Kaylee must be its mother. Rolling with the punches, Kaylee named the ducky Snowflake, and the two became inseparable. And they do everything together. We do mean everything, by the way. From soccer practice, sleepovers, swimming and walking on beaches, and apparently even trick-or-treating. Cats rule. Cats are one of the most common animals to bond with. They are up there with dogs and snakes as animals that are domesticated and turned into pets and companion animals. Cats are so popular nowadays that they are now personality types for their owners. Assumptions about what kind of people have cats as their love recipients. Children especially love cats. There is something about cats that can be extremely positive, so goes the example of Iris Grace and her cat Thula. Iris suffers from autism, and one of the symptoms of autism is irregular sleep patterns as well as obsessive behaviors. This can make forming relationships short and long-term very difficult. Thula the cat, like all cats do, entered her life by just rolling on in and making herself a constant presence. This constant presence, though, turned out to be just what Iris needed to start coming out of her shell. According to those that saw this transformation occur, Thula's presence had an incredibly positive effect on Iris, giving her the confidence to speak short but clear sentences such as sit and cat and come into long-form sentences like the one I just spoke. Thula, of course, obeyed Iris, and the friendship between cat and child developed Iris's confidence and encouraged her to continue developing. Friendly sharks? Sharks are scary. Wondering what's under you while swimming will be frightening. People and sharks were just never meant to be best friends. Or are they? Whether it's their huge teeth, their intimidating open mouths, or their hunting personality, sharks are really scary. You may have already seen articles or videos relating to people interacting with sharks. Australian fisherman Arnold Pointer is a brave soul who befriended a great white shark. While cruising the Australian seas, Arnold claims that he has a white shark that follows him but does not attack him. There is some debate whether this friendship is genuine or in fact a hoax. There is strong evidence for both sides of the arguments, from columnists claiming to be the author of a fictional to those that say the photos are real and that this nutty fisherman is indeed friends with the great white shark. Horsing around. Horses. Who doesn't love horses? We ride them into battle, we use them to pull our carts in the olden times, and we race on their backs for sport and pleasure. We all love them. It's debatable if they love us. But never mind. Let's talk about Amsley Myers. She's 13 years old, and she shares her home and her heart with Gazant, her Dutch warm-blood horse. Gazant and Amsley both live in LA, and they are inseparable after developing a super bond whilst at her grandparents' Coto Grove Farms. The two are just adorable together and really show the kind of connection that can be built between people and animals when those animals are able to be cared for and treated like intelligent and emotional creatures we all know they are. Duck, duck, goose. Geese are smart birds, some of the smartest in fact. They have been documented as possessing impressive memories as well as being able to remember people and situations from years and years ago. So it's not surprising that when a person is either naughty or nice to a goose, that they will remember that encounter and react accordingly next time. This is what Dominic Erler, a retired salesman, discovered when he interacted with a gray goose named Maria. Dominic had been minding his own business when Maria had approached him, and instead of feeding her or fleeing from her, Dominic did nothing. This strange reaction to her made Maria curious about Dominic, and she then decided to follow him for years. Dominic says that Maria has not left his side, and now the two are inseparable. Dominic thinks that Maria is waiting for something, or she thinks she owns him. Either way, whatever Maria is doing, it's pretty cute. Lions. They are the kings of the jungle, the lords of the savannah. They are lions. When these large wild cats get angry, it's best to stay away. Not for these two guys, Ace Berg and John Rendell. These two men decided in 1969 to purchase a 35-pound lion cub and named him Christian. It is unclear to this day why they named him this way though, like all the owners of teacup pigs and lions, I guess. Ace and John were approaching a big problem. Christian was becoming way too big to be kept. But what were they to do? Put Christian down? Ship it to Africa? Actually, shipping off Christian to Africa was exactly what they did. The two friends put their faith in nature and had Christian taken to Africa to live in the wild. They were told that if they wanted to ever visit their furry friend, that the likelihood of Christian ever recognizing them will be very slim. Ace and John arrived at Christian's new home, and they were both met with a heartwarming hello from their wild roommate who now has his own pride. Upon seeing them, he gave them both a huge hug, which I imagine feels like hugging a living blanket. Dogs. They are man's best friend. They are our war buddies, hunting mates. They protect us and we feed them and adore them. It is commonly believed that with the exception of human bond, that people and dogs have the closest bond. You can probably think of dozens of examples of the incredible relationship between dog and man. In real life between friends and family, in films or shows, or in books. The pairing is just that iconic. The story of Eric O'Grey and his dog is one that if it hasn't been adapted into a play or TV movie, probably it will be at some point. Eric was very obese, really obese, 340 pounds obese. He had high cholesterol as well as diabetes, basically saying Eric was super unfit and unwell. This is when the nutritionist told Eric that the best way to get fit and to improve his health was to adopt a dog. Eric adopted a dog named Petty, and as soon as the two locked eyes, he was an instant bond. With the help of Petty, Eric began walking and exercising regularly, and over the course of their friendship, Eric had managed to lose over 140 pounds of weight, half of his original weight, thanks to his little body. Penguins. Incredible birds that have adapted to water and land like no other. They bond quickly to those that give them affection. In Brazil, the story between João Pereira de Souza and his inseparable Patagonian penguin companion keeps unfolding. One winter, João Pereira de Souza, a 71-year-old Brazilian man, was at the beach when he found a penguin washed up by the water, covered from flipper to beak in oil, struggling to stay alive. João took the penguin home and nursed him back to full health. Zhao wasn't sure of the laws for keeping wild animals such as penguins away from the wild for too long and tried to release him back into the wild. Since then, the penguin comes back every year to spend time with his human friend. Zhao and Dindim, a name given to the penguin by those who know Zhao, spend their days together, walking the beach, taking swims, and eating together before Dindim returns south for the summer. It's clear that friendship between people and wild animals knows no bounds, knows no species or even continents. It is important to remember that we humans are not the only living, loving creatures of this big blue ball that we call home. We share it with literally millions of different species, from fish to birds to bugs to beasts. So when man and animal actually take the time to know each other and become friends, it becomes a clear message. Kindness should be the given, not the exception. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, remember to click the bell icon after you subscribe so you can get instant notifications of all our new videos.